Before watching this video, remember that this isn't about any specific version of Pokemon Brick Bronze. It's about the entire game as a whole. This video also isn't meant to be taken as legitimate criticism, so don't take every point here all that seriously. With that said, enjoy the video. The game's very existence and history are the reason Lumion Legacy is rotting away. Because PvP fans expected a lot from Llama Train during 2018 and got another majorly unfinished product with an atrocious update schedule, Lumion Legacy's performance has not once met the heights of Pokemon Brick Bronze. However, Brick Bronze itself was far from perfect. In fact, Brick Bronze's quality of life, or QOL, was awful. For starters, the XP share was a Game Pass, when it's free in pretty much every main series Pokemon game. Sure, it was cheap, but the fact that it required Robux was appalling. Second, the entire Battle Point shop, or BP shop, is a pay-to-win shit show. It is nearly impossible to get anything valuable without spending money. Remember, you could only get a maximum of 5 Battle Points per match, and rematching the same person would have a 1-hour cooldown for said BP to be awarded. This meant that if you try to get something valuable like, I don't know, one of the 90 BP TMs that contains some of the most useful moves in the entire game, you'd need to win a minimum of 20 matches, without losing once. Not to mention that certain Megastones and evolution items were only obtainable through this dreaded shop, which made obtaining Pokemon like Weavile, Porygon 2, and Gliscor, or obtaining Megastones for Pokemon like Gyarados and Latios impossible for free-to-play players. Speaking of Latios, the roaming mechanic is another dumpster fire that makes me doubt Roblox developers ever thinking about their free-to-play players. If you have no idea what this is, the roaming mechanic gives you a 0.1% chance of finding any legendary Pokemon you have seen or fought for a specific event. Remember, these odds are lower than the chances of finding a legendary through randomizer. Forget trying to get a Mega Latios, you can't even catch the Pokemon itself without, you guessed it, spending Robux on the legendary Row Power. Fuck this mechanic. 3 sin points. Let's talk about the Colosseum again. I'm gonna get the obvious one out of the way and point out how the only format was Anything Goes, which is by far the worst competitive format in all of Pokemon, so the competitive scene was already a disaster. However, we cannot mention competitive Brick Bronze without mentioning bottle caps. Yeah, you saw this one coming a mile away. They're debatably one of the most important competitive items in the game, and they're nearly unobtainable. The only way to receive one is from the Lucky Lotto after trading and receiving several Pokemon with unique trainer IDs. Only then will you have a small chance of receiving a bottle cap on a certain day. This makes the only viable way of obtaining them through trading, but because of their unjustified rarity, they have an unjustified trading value, leading to them overinflating the trade economy as well. To make a long story short, bottle caps were so horribly designed that they effectively ruined the RTD as a whole, outside of the player search function, of course. 5 sin points. Route 2 is the most forgettable route in the entire game, and no other route comes close. It's terribly small, the grass is blocked off by rock climb, which isn't obtainable until after the 6th gym, and there's only one trainer. Even if you were to fly back for a fishing encounter, you get fly after the 4th gym, and there'd be no reason to run all the way back from Laguna Lake when you can get a water-type Pokemon from both Route 7 and Laguna Lake itself with the old rod you can pick up there. Even if you disregard all of that, the encounters are all worthless, so it's pretty hard to justify revisiting this route even if you're doing the Nuzlocke challenge. This could also easily be fixed by having worthwhile encounters, so it gets 3 sin points. Route 4 is also terribly small with no trainers and nothing to write home about besides being the only spot that requires cut for you to progress through the game. I mean, yeah, you can pick up Meryl here for the 2nd gym if you didn't get a water starter, but that's about it. So not only is it mostly irrelevant, it's also a pain in the ass if none of your Pokemon can learn Cut. Yes, there are other instances in the game where you need Cut to get something, but they never force you to come to a screeching halt. Route 9 is amazing in my opinion. It gives you access to plenty of other locations, looks really well done, and is debatably one of the most memorable routes in all of Brick Bronze. Route 10 could have left Petalil out of the Flower Garden so that it would be an effective special defense EV farm, but Petalil is included when it could have easily been a grass encounter. Why? Route 11 is very empty, most of the trainers are skippable, and slowing the player down in the sand doesn't mean anything when the hoverboard bypasses this mechanic altogether. Route 12 is another route that forces you to use an HM that isn't required to progress throughout any other point in the story. However, Route 12 comes right after the 5th gym, where you'd probably have a full team of level 50 to 60 Pokemon, making this even more of an ass bowl than Route 4. The same issue applies to Route 14 and Rock Climb. The decision to hand the player the Soothe Bell at Route 16 after the 7th gym was a horrible one. People will likely want their friendship evolutions before gyms 3 or 4, so this would be obsolete by then. A bunch of the trainers on Cosmos Valley would make great EV, EXP, or money farms, but they aren't rematchable. In my opinion, Jake has basically no redeeming qualities until Anthean City. He's your paper-thin kid from next door until Brimber City, where he abandons you to fight Team Eclipse on your own like a shameless coward. He does support you through Route 8 as a walking Pokécenter, but then wastes way too much time on some Eclipse fodder and leaves you to deal with the Eclipse admin yet again at Rose Cove Beach. Even though he does redeem himself by helping Looker with his mission throughout the rest of the story past Anthean City, he is completely unremarkable before that, which would be the entire first half of the game. Linda's kind of an idiot. She's weaker than every Eclipse grunt you battle in the entire game, but has the nerve to get cocky as if she can defeat the player and get away with their stolen bronze break with a level 7 Poochyena and a level 9 Pancham. She also just immediately returns the bronze break after she loses, when she could have tried to run past the player like when she stole it. You could argue that Jake could have cornered her and that she would have been forced to return the necklace in a scenario like that, and I would have loved to see that, but that is unfortunately nothing more than a missed opportunity now. On the subject of the bronze brick, Gerald comments on how genius it is that the player's parents left this prized possession with their only child, when in reality, this decision places them in mortal danger on the regular. Remember, Edmund Tyler blew up the energy core in Anthean City, attempting to wipe out everyone inside of it, meaning that if Dialga and Palkia never showed up, Tess and the player would have died. Who thought leaving the fate of the world in the hands of a 10-year-old was a good idea? Admin Harry is also a complete idiot. Did he really expect Groudon to obey him with no healthy Pokemon and no Pokeballs? At least Gabe tried to capture Kyogre. Absent-minded admin Gabe brought one Pokeball to catch Kyogre. You're not that guy, pal, trust me. Cypress being the boss of Team Eclipse was such a great plot twist that Pokemon ripped off the evil professor trope for Scarlet and Violet. The bronze brick summoning Dialga and Palkia makes no sense at all, and it never does anything like this again. The grunt deadlock for the red jewel before the 5th gym has pretty much no significance to the main plot of the game. You probably forgot this even happened. And that's everything wrong with Pokemon Brick Bronze. Let me know if there are aspects of the game you didn't enjoy, and why they might differ from mine in the comments. Also, sorry I haven't uploaded in a long time. I genuinely thought I wasn't that interested in YouTube anymore, but after having this idea, I knew I had to make it into a video. We're also really close to 10,000 subscribers, so hopefully you guys can make that happen soon. Thank you for watching. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Peace.